After exploring the whole continent, looking under every rock, talking to every NPC I could, I finally collected them all. The legendary 7 dragon cocks. And now I can finally collect what is rightfully mine. What's up, guys? You're here with CozierLobster, and today we're going to be reviewing the game Demon Roots. Once upon a time, the evil Demon King was slain by the hero. The Demon King had a bunch of minions called demons. But your grandmas and grandpas and their cats and dogs all worked together to kill them. One day, a sneaky demon attacked a girl while she was using the bathroom. She mustered all her courage and threw her poo at the demon. The demon fell to pieces, crying as it died. Poo? Really? Nah. That's what the humans want you to believe. The Demon Lord may be dead, but the demons do not go down with just a bit of poo. After the Demon Lord's defeat, the demons took refuge in the Dark Realm, a desolate land where nothing should be able to survive, and where humans wouldn't dare go to hunt them down. But the Dark Realm is closing up, and the demons are on the verge of extinction. With the humans on the surface still hating demons even though they haven't been seen for over 1,000 years, with no way to mend that bridge, the original heads of the Demon Lord organization, the remnants of the Apostle, have gathered the rest of the demons together to do something to prevent their extinction, with only one plan in mind. No, with only one option left: world domination. If you don't know, this is a hentai game. And if you bought it off of Steam, it doesn't come with those scenes installed. If you are here for that, then you want to go to Kagura's website, look up the game in their browser, and go down to the download section and download one of the patches for the English version, which will install all the arrow scenes for the game. Once you have the patch downloaded, launch the game at least one time, and then launch the patch to install the files. These kind of games from Otaku Plan or Kagura usually don't come with the hentai installed for whatever reason, probably because it's easier to publish the games on Steam without the hentai. The games will usually work, but the games don't have any of the models, and of course the H scenes aren't there, so if you're here for that, then you might want to go get the patch. With that done, we can get into the game. Our main story picks up with a demon named Deathpolca in the Dark Realm, even though she doesn't really look like a demon. And is she going to keep looking at me like that the whole game? Looks like she's trying too hard to be evil. Anyway, she goes and meets up with the last 5 apostles and the 30,000 strong demon army ready to raid the surface. She isn't one of the demon remnants, but she is a very strong demon who acts as the demon spearhead and the strategist. The goal of the demons is to set up a core location where they can defend so they can easily branch out. The city of Bohelos is their first target. It was the city settled over 100 years ago by the hero Bohelos. Very creative naming there, by the way. The city was settled by free slaves and the only city on the continent that doesn't allow slavery. They have a very strong influence on the lower half of the continent, and if they attacked any other nation on this side of the continent, they would be attacked by Bohelos. Bohelos is also coincidentally celebrating their 100th anniversary of its founding, so the guard is a bit down, which is the perfect time for the demons to invade. The combat is pretty fun in this game, with each party member having their own roles to play. You start off with only Polka in your party, whose role seems to be more of a support, but as you play you'll add all the typical party members like tank, DPS, and mages, but you will even add more wild cards that fit whatever playstyle you go for in RPGs. Each of these characters can be customized even further to your liking depending on what items you give them. Certain items can even grant abilities, so if you want to shove a healing hand on your main DPS and have them heal your team, you can do that. Each character usually has a special move list and a magic move list, where one mainly uses mana and the other one uses TP points, which TP points are gained whenever a person makes a move or builds up TP. TP can also be built up if you take hits. You will also unlock abilities just by leveling up most of your characters. Each party member can also get an ultimate ability. These are usually flashy moves that help decide a battle. These are usually locked behind story progression, so for instance, Polka gets hers during the final climax against the commander of Bohelos. Her ultimate is called Demon's Root. Huh. Would you look at that? That's the name of the game. Well, folks, wrap it up. Roll the credits. We're done here. Once demons take over the castle, they set up their first country. After the invasion, you kind of get a massive lore dump of how the world works and what the demons is planning to do moving forward. And the TLDR of it, everybody on the continent wants to kill them. So the plan is to take over each country one by one and brainwash the heads of state to work for the demons, as they slowly work their way towards the head that is controlling the continent, the Empire. Man, these RPGs really like that name for the big bad guys in these games. And that's the name of the game, where you'll just slowly hop to different key locations on the map and take over different countries. Of course, it isn't all that simple, but that's the gist of it. Polka's main role in this is the voice of reason for the demons. She's trying to be the middle ground between people and demons, because if it was up to her fellow demons, they would just go with Plan B, which is the mass genocide of all humans plan. But Polka is afraid of not learning from their past, like with the Demon Lord, who ruled by oppression, and they were killed because of that. So she wants to pave a road where humans and demons can stand shoulder to shoulder. Even though they just captured the city and the demons didn't kill everybody, they even successfully brainwashed the guards and the king to work for them, so that the city could go back to normal, but with demons in it now. The people still have a great fear of demons, so not everything is peachy. It also doesn't help that Bohelos is probably the only decent country around, and the rest of them just use slaves and disposable bodies. But that's the ebb and flow of tension between the demons and people, which is an ever-present theme in the story. One that Polka tries her best to mitigate. Also, the irony of this whole situation is great, because as you keep playing the game, you'll begin to see humans acting more like demons with how some people are treated. With a foothold on the continent, Polka will act as a vanguard for the demon race, while the other apostles will stay back and guard the home front. For now, the demons are going along with Polka's plan of coexistence with humans, but if she dies, they will resort to killing everything because they neither have the time or manpower to keep tab on the humans. Half of their forces alone were taken out during the raid on Bohelos. This is the main premise to the game progression. You have Polka go to different locations on the map with a new harebrained idea on how to conquer the area. When you conquer them on the map, the area will turn blue, so as you keep playing the game, you'll get a real feeling on how close to the end of the game you are. Which is a good time to mention that this game is very long, going well over 50 hours for my first playthrough alone. I did do all these side objectives, so the game might be a lot less, but I don't know how enemies scale, so you might not need to do everything. The game does have an easy normal mode, so if you just want to experience the story, you always have that option. There's a lot of things to go for in the game besides just progressing through the story. They have achievements if you're an achievement hunter, which are as simple as completing a chapter of the story or collecting 7 dragon cocks. There are also super bosses at the end of the game that you can go back for in some areas. These fights are to really test your team comp, and you might need a little bit of RNG for some of these fights. I'm a firing my laser! The game really encourages you to go back and explore previous areas that you've been to before. For instance, the first area that you go to after the fight in Bohelos is a small slave city right next door. The goal for Polka here is to take the city and take out the mysterious enemy to all demons, but as you go through the area, you'll probably miss a ton of secret passageways with loot, and you probably can't take on the super enemy in the area yet because the only person in your party at this point is Polka. Each location usually has an extra dungeon to it, too, which is usually has harder enemies compared to the other enemies in the area, and it also has some loot and some cool character interactions in it. But as you get further into the game, you will add more party members and acquire information where to locate these secret areas. You can always come back to conquered locations to explore more, so you don't have to worry too much about missing anything. And how do you find out about these secrets? Well, I'm glad you asked. Eventually, as you keep playing, you'll get access to the kingdom of Do Le Mi Fucking Dumb. At least that's how I imagine them saying it. And I love this place, just because they tried their damnedest to shove the word fuck into as many situations as possible. You have the fuck king, the fuck kingdom, fuck coins. Makes me wonder what the Japanese version's like. Fuck Kingdom is a neutral country that specializes in sex that you can visit early on in the game. Whenever sexual fantasy you desire, the Fuck Kingdom is your perfect provider. They're presented as an information broker that will provide information to demons for fuck coins. This is the main area where you'll be seeing most of the game's H scenes, with your team acting as prostitutes to make fuck coins. Fuck coins are spent at a shop to buy certain armor and weapons, but you'll mainly use them to buy items that reveal all the secrets to locations or solutions to puzzles. I recommend it because some of these items that you can find early on can be some of the best items you can get throughout the whole game. There are also some codes to lock chests and other weird puzzles that you'll never be able to solve without a guide. I like when games at least try to integrate the hentai with the gameplay in some way, and how they try to lock the loot behind the hentai is kind of funny because you know you want the booty. Plus, you never need to participate in the event to complete the story, so if you just want to avoid it, you can. Each character joins your team will each get their own intro cutscene showing off their new outfits that they must wear in the country, because you can't just be walking around in just your normal garb here. You gotta be walking around half naked to be seen proper here. Each member will unlock a new location specialized for them. Each of these areas has a gacha system for said character, where you start out only being able to see 3 scenes, but you can go up to any station, spend some spirit stones to play a random scene, which you will find spirit stones just by playing the game, but depending on the scene you get, depends on how many fuck coins you get. I'm kind of disappointed in this because in actuality you only get 1 scene, but they're either wearing more or less clothing, and the dialogue is changed for each one, just kind of seems a little lazy. You can unlock an additional 3 scenes with each of the girls by either getting them to level 18 and having a special sex scene. You see what they did there? Level 18, the age of consent is 18, hardy, god, it's so stupid. These can also be unlocked by failing a rescue mission for some of the members when they get captured if you're more into a forceful approach, you sick fuck. By the end of the game, you'll end up with a team of 8, and each of them are very colorful members. You have a serial killer with a domination fetish, a knight in a bikini, and yes, the bikini is important for the plot, slave gladiator with no brains and all bronze, a mage cut in half and stapled to a floating wall, an isekai FBI agent with daddy issues, a demon swordsman with no sense of humor, and finally a cross-dressing prince fighting for the throne of the empire. Each of these characters have great stories and drives that you usually find out about before they join your team. You can only have 4 people in a battle at a time, so you'll have to pick and choose which one you want in your party. I'm usually not a big fan of this because whoever usually isn't in your party doesn't get any XP, but in this game, any XP you get in battle is given to everyone. I'd also argue that everyone has a unique gimmick, so everyone has some type of use. Take the FBI agent. Her shtick is ammo management, because most of her skills require ammunition that you can find throughout the game. So you can't just fire off her abilities willy-nilly, so you might want to save her for a tougher boss fight. Or the prince, who's kind of a jack-of-all-trades character, so you can easily slide him into the party if you need a little more healing or buffing or maybe a little bit more damage. My only gripe about this is that everyone who joins your party starts off at level 1. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal, they aren't that far behind in levels compared to everyone else. Well, this isn't too bad, I guess. I won't use her until she catches up with the rest of the party. Oh, come on! She was over level 30 earlier in the game, now that she's finally joined the party, she's reduced back to level 1? I'm going to go over more of the story beats, so if you don't want any spoilers, then I recommend jumping to the timestamp below. Before I get into it, I'm not going to go over the majority of the story. This section is more or less about elements of the story that I really like. This is just because the plot is massive, and I don't think doing a summary would do the story any justice. But I really do love the story to this game. It has a great blend of character and story that builds up into a great epic, it feels. The story can even feel kind of bloated with the abundance of world building, people, and situations that you can just kind of lose track of half the crap that goes on. One character will say that something that doesn't really mean much until 20 hours later, and that one comment leads to them producing bioweapons. This isn't a bad kind of bloat where it's so much on the author's plate that he keeps adding to it so that he doesn't give him enough time or breathing room to tie everything together. And yeah, I'm looking at you. They managed to build up each of the members of the parties greatly and give them a great backstory and great drive. For instance, Kalka is one of my favorite party members. She was born as a slave in the desert city of Plana, where they have a competition once every 4 years on a Colosseum, where the slaves can go through a gauntlet where the winner will be able to face the king, and if they beat the king, they will become the ruler of the kingdom. Kalka's mother, who was the strongest gladiator in the Colosseum, participated in this event in the past and lost to the king. The king took her back to the castle for some unwelcome education, which is how Kalka was born. Despite that, her mother still taught her how to fight and survive as a gladiator, until one day the king's son, who is now the current king, ordered them to have a death match, and Kalka's mother allowed her daughter to kill her. Her mother telling her to always smile because she looks good when she smiles. Afterwards, Kalka was forced to kill her fellow gladiators day after day if she just wanted to survive, where she wore a smile the whole time. The other gladiators just assumed she was a cold-blooded murderer, but in truth, she only had one mission in mind, which is to survive just to get the chance to fight the king and kill him, which her chance finally comes when Polka just happens to show up wanting to conquer the kingdom, and allows Kalka to join her team to take on the gauntlet. Which, no matter how much the king rigged the gauntlet, the girls came out on top. She has my favorite ultimate ability, which is called Mission Punch. It's great because it's really high damage move and it does nothing else. which is a great metaphor that shows that that's all Calca has. She doesn't have magic or brains, but she does have bronze, and a mission to beat the ever-living shit out of the king for taking her mother away. This is only one member of the party, and each member get their own in-depth backstories just like this. Each of the members also have great interactions with each other that evolve over time too. Take Sarasa, who was a very cold and nihilistic personality when she first joins up, which evolves into a very caring and protective type of personality for the other members just due to what the party goes through throughout the story. This impression might vary depending on how much side content you do, because this is where you'll see a lot of the goofiness that the party has to solve. The story itself is very dark almost throughout the whole runtime, so their side missions are kind of a nice tone resetter. The whole plot has this feeling that everything is pointless just due to how overpowered the Empire is. You get this feeling that at any time they could just come over and stamp out this little rebellion of the demons. Everything revolves around this oppression, which is the central theme of the game. How much can a person, or a demon take in this case, before they either rise up or their wills break? You have the demons kind of being forced into hiding for almost 1,000 years with the fear of an unknown enemy that they can't even hurt. They even tried to negotiate with the Empire in the past and they were just cut down. You even have mass amounts of atrocities that are done to the slaves across the whole continent. They're forced to kill each other. If they have any magic ability at all, they're taken, cut in half, and glued to a floating board and trained to use their magic as a mobile force field until they die from overexertion. They're educated like it's 1984, never to oppose the government. If the slaves rebel, they're sent to internment camps, and once they're too old, they're used as bait for creatures to come out and bash out materials from the ground. The Empire is the real monster of the game, while demons are just trying to survive. This is the kind of atmosphere that's perfect for our main protagonist Polka, who kind of acts like a freedom fighter to rescue slaves and have them help rebel against the Empire, as she goes through conquering new territory. Which is funny because she puts on an act like she really hates people, but she loves helping anybody in need. She is the perfect middle ground between demons and humans because demons are able to fuse with a human one time, which she did in the past and lost her memories afterwards, so when she took over the body, she didn't even know she was a demon anymore. So she lived with people for a bit before the White Menace tried to kill her and she was saved by her fellow demons. Her name was Bohelos, so she was the one that settled the city of Bohelos, which is what I mean, that little plot points that come back after 20 hours. But since she lived with both humans and demons, she understands both their pains, which is why she tried so hard to save both of them. This all leads up to a final epic fight against the Empire, which is cool because you get to see everybody from the start of the game to the end of the game come together for a final clash. The game also likes being in the gray zone on some morals. You have demons that have been around since the Demon Lord was alive, so a lot of these demons have done their own atrocities themselves. They are out here just trying not to go extinct, so I guess it's up to you if you think demons need to be forgiven, or even if they need to be forgiven after so long. But that's what makes the game so interesting and why I recommend it just to experience the story alone. It's the best one I've experienced in a while. I didn't mention it earlier, but this game also has a game over mechanic where you can either retry a fight or load an old save, but the rest of the hentai scenes are located with a third option, which is giving up on world domination and becoming a slave to the Empire, which is called the Bad End mode. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but these are just practically good old scenes. These scenes are where you get to see each of the members mentally break from the most fucked up ways you can possibly imagine. In this ending, everybody in the party is branded and forced to wear some constraining outfits and are locked away in the Empire's internment camp. Here you can walk around and view some extra scenes with them in their new outfits, where there's nothing else to do but to go through a maze that is impossible to beat. Your party has no equipment, and every enemy will one-shot you. And once everybody in the party gets taken out, you watch a scene of whoever name you pick before entering the maze. This is more or less just supposed to show how fucked up it is to end up in the internment camp, but my lord, I think they went a bit far with this one. I really like the music in this game. There are a few new tracks that I haven't heard from any other RPG Maker games, and they also use a lot of different music. Most games will just use 4 to 5 different songs and be done with it, but each area in this game gets their own theme, which I appreciate. You can even listen to these songs in the main menu, and some of the songs are really good. I would give the game a 9 out of 10 crustaceans. This game was a blast. I haven't had this much fun in an RPG in a while. The story and the characters are the real shining stars of the game, and it's just great. But that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next debauchery.